They want you to believe that your value is capped at a buzzer beater or a touchdown. They've spent centuries trying to convince us that our only path to the promised land is through the physical labour of sports or the entertainment of the world. But what if I told you that the same sweat you pour onto that court is the raw material for an empire? Napoleon Hill studied the world's wealthiest, and he found a secret they don't want you to master: transmutation. It's the ability to take the fire, the discipline, and the never-say-die attitude you learned in the streets or on the field, and transfer that power into business, law, and global leadership. Magic Johnson knew it. He told the brothers to take the basketball brain and turn it into a business brain. Today, Nuri Muhammad breaks down why we need to stop playing for a jersey and start playing for a legacy. It's time to stop being just an athlete and start being the architect of your own reality. If you're concerned about the next generation of blacks, stay to the end. Let's get into it.
I remember, I don't know if you ever heard of Napoleon Hill, who wrote Think and Grow Rich. He wrote Think and Grow Rich, but he studied 500 people for 20-some years under Andrew Carnegie's funding and backing. And what he was doing, he was trying to study the habits of the leaders of all the different industries around the world. And when he studied these 500 most successful people in all fields of human endeavor, he found 16 things that were common among all of them. One of those things was what he called transmutation. That is the transfer of power from one area in life to another area in life. So when your brother says what he says, and we know from the outside looking in that you were born with a certain amount of talent, but it took work to hone that talent and get it to the level where it is. Mm-hmm. So it took a lot of discipline. It took a lot of sacrifice. So transmutation says that whatever I was able to do in one area, all I got to do is bring the same mindset to this other area, and I can do it too. You remember whenever I can't remember how long ago. Remember the D League? They call it the G League now. For NBA, yes, first started, that's developmental league. They was bringing the young soldiers through to get them prepared for the NBA. The first year or second year, Magic Johnson was their speaker. Listen to what he said. He said, I want to teach you brothers how to take the brain you built in basketball and use it for business.
Yes, Lord.
I don't think he's been invited back, but he should be there every time, because all that is transmutation. It's changing discipline. One of our impediments as a people is, number one, we celebrate athletics more than we do academics for our children. That's bad math. The other thing is we put our children in the sports, and so do white people. But white people put their children in sports to extract the principles from it. And we put our children in sports to become a professional at it. And whenever they go in and we go in, they too are in the little league. They too are in Pop Warner. They there. But because they're going in there to extract principles from it, if they don't make it to the NBA or the NFL, they take the sacrifice they learned, the discipline, the hard work, the working through fatigue, the teamwork, the categorization of personal life problems and still being able to perform a task, and they take that to their law firm or their insurance agency or their dental office, and they just take discipline over there with them and become great in that. But we got our mind wrapped up 100%. If I'm going to the league, I'm going to the league, I'm going to the league, I'm going to be in the NFL, I'm going to be, and if it don't happen, now you got a brother with a broken spirit. Right now, Brother Cam, there's 500,000 black boys playing high school basketball. Only 17,000 of them will actually make it to college to play basketball.
On a scholarship.
And yeah, on a scholarship. And out of them 17,000, only 44 of them will make it to the NBA. And out of the 44 that make it to the NBA, only 7 of them will get a starting position. And the average career of the one that did get a starting position is only 5 to 7 years. So there's 500,000 black boys competing for 7 full-time jobs that ain't gonna last for 7 years.
It's heavy.
I don't know, that's bass awkward. You ain't catch that.
Bad backwards.
It's messed up.
Yeah.
So we have to, what your brother's saying, he's telling you, but this is a universal message we all need to know.
No, for sure.
If you became proficient in any sport, you have a greater calling on your life, and you can take that discipline that you use and all the principles from it and go into anything and be a master of it. And if you find exactly, specifically what you're born to do, that's where happiness comes from.
Yeah.
You know, I was listening to the minister. It was a lecture he was doing, Brother Cam, and I was sitting on the stage, and he said, I was looking up the definition of happiness. And then he said, not in the dictionary. I consulted myself. And I didn't say it out loud, but this is what I was thinking. Yeah, who in the hell is Webster anyway? I'd rather have a divine definition from the man of God than Webster. So I want to, look what he said. The minister said, happiness comes when you find your purpose for living and you are fulfilling that purpose. That soul then has an unspeakable joy. So real happiness don't come from filling full your pocket. It comes from fulfilling your purpose. And we live in a world right now where most people do what they're paid for, not necessarily what they're made for. So they don't have no real true happiness. You'll be happier doing what you love, making less money, than doing what you don't really want to do and be making a lot of money at it. That's the specific purpose. So whatever, you know, LeBron, I love it. More than an athlete. More than an athlete. When they came out with that shut up and dribble statement, more than an athlete. See, that kind of mentality, he's saying that I know that whatever I've been able to do to become a master of this craft called basketball, I can take the same principles and bring it to anything else I want to do in life, and I can be a master at that too. Yeah. You can do that too, bro, Cam.
Man, I'm trying.
You're born for it.
Lord Jesus.
You're born for it.
Man, the thing about me is I don't do what I don't like. I never partake in alcohol. Never smoked weed a day of my life. Never did no pills, no none of that. I partook in wine, and that's just something to do. But it's like, what tempt me is certain things that now thinking in ways of how can I divert my focus to something that's really going to impact me. And I like to tell you, Brother Nuri, if I would have told somebody in January I'm going to lose 30 pounds, somebody would have been like, nah, man, you can't lose that. Like, look at you, you are. But I did, though.
Wow.
Am I lying?
You look good, bro, Cam. You doing good.
No.
But you transferred discipline. You should have been. You might as well did Ramadan with us if you didn't eat nothing until 5.
No, for sure.
Because just add a couple more hours to it, we could have been breaking fast, man, together.
You know what I'm saying? But you just don't know. But I say all that to say, for me, after I stepped on that scale, and I said, man, I ain't seen 245 in years, right? I got up at as much as 280. And I said to myself, now what? Then there was so much warfare mentally for me personally that the people who I was appointing as counselors in my life were speaking, something got to change. Something got to change. So I'm saying to myself, it's like, all right, what's affecting, or what's the root of things being affected?
Man.
It's your tongue.
Wow.
I said, well, if that be the case, if I was able to wake up multiple days, and my joy was, man, I'm waking up every day, 5 a.m., no excuses. I'm gonna at least get one in every single day. At least one. I done got up to 3 in one day, just locked in, focus. And I said that when I stepped on that scale, I said, man, I did it, but what did I do? Is that really a challenge for me? Working out, that's not really a challenge for me, because that comes easy.
Yeah.
What's hard is control your tongue.
Yeah.
That's more of a thing that would challenge you. And then obviously for me, man, I just want to do right by people.
Yes, sir.
Even if they don't do right by me.
All right. That's right. Well, that's, when you do that, you are activating the the God.
Yes, sir.
To bless you in another way other than where you sow. He's the Lord of all the worlds. You don't have to reap where you sow. You can sow in this person and maybe not reap nothing from that person, but there's a verse in the Quran that says this, that no good deed goes without its just reward, even if it be the weight of an atom or smaller thereof, in a rock put in the center of the earth, everything goes with its just reward. So there's nothing that we do of good that even if the person we do the good for doesn't reciprocate, God is the governor of the law of reciprocity. He's going to look out for you. And I was telling something you were saying about words. I was telling a brother the other day, he said, he's a preacher. He was telling me, say what you mean. Just say what you mean. I said, he was telling some young brothers, say what you mean. And I said to him, I said, it's better to not say what you mean, but say what you want. Didn't it say in the scripture that the power of life and death is in the tongue? Speak those things which are not as if though they are. Look at this. Paul said, he said, let the one that is sick say that they are well. And let the one that is hurting say that they are not hurting. So this is, the God wouldn't tell us to say something opposite of the condition that we're in unless our words are powerful enough to actually alter it. Words are so powerful that it was the force that the Lord of the world used to bring everything that we see into existence. Look at the Bible. God said, let there be light. He didn't think and wish, he spoke it into existence. And God said, let the stars adorn the heaven. And God said, let the firmament cover the earth. Then when it gets to this thing called man, the greatest aspect of creation, God said, let us make man. In the Holy Quran, it says, same thing, a little different. It says that when God or Allah deems a thing, he simply says to it, be, and it is. So words don't just describe reality. Words, by the law of substitution, have the ability to create a reality. So don't say what you mean. Say what you want. Because you can speak those things into existence. If you follow your words up with the works, it'll manifest itself. And James the apostle said that the tongue is a small member of the part, but just like a little udder on a ship can just turn a little bit and make the whole ship guide. So it is with the tongue. The use of the tongue in the wrong way can make our life go the wrong direction. The use of our tongue in the right way can make our life go the right direction. And what you're doing, Brother Cam, I hope that I'm gonna accept the challenge with you, because I cuss sometime too, but I'm accepting that challenge. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad called cussing baby language. Baby language. So I'm like, yeah, I'm grown. I'm not using no baby language. So I'm a ride out with you. Today's my last day of some dams and hells. After this, I'm going clean with you, Brother Cam.
You're my accountability partner.
But this is the other thing. By you putting it in the atmosphere and me and you together.
Let's talk about bad math. Right now, 500,000 of our young brothers are competing for just 7 full-time jobs in the NBA that won't even last 7 years. We are putting our children into sports to become professionals, while the system puts their children into sports to extract principles. When a white child doesn't make the league, he takes that discipline to his law firm or his dental office. But when our brothers don't make it, they end up with a broken spirit because we didn't teach them how to pivot. Nuri is challenging us to see that if you are proficient in a sport, you have a greater calling. You aren't lucky to be there. You were born for it. But true happiness doesn't come from a paycheck. It comes from fulfilling a purpose. Most people do what they are paid for, but the giants of our history did what they were made for. Which one are you?
I found this out. It's a little trick that I learned accidentally on purpose again. Give up goals, share with everybody. But go up goals, keep them to yourself. When you're trying to become something greater or get to a certain level, you don't want to tell everybody about that. because one of the worst things you could ever do is share a big idea with a small-minded person. Because soon as you do, they're going to try to talk you out of or make you think it's so hard. So go up goals, keep them to yourself so you don't activate envy and jealousy or the misery loves company doubt that they put in. Right. But give up goals, put them on blast, because now everybody's looking. And now you're saying, I got some motivation that's in my mind, but I also got some motivation. I can't take them asking me. Yeah. How's you coming with that cussing thing? Yeah. And you don't want to be the one to say, I received that. I haven't. So, but you want to be the one to say.
Man, I've been telling everybody, bro. I've been because I'm a person that believes in accountability. My father instilled that in me early. You know,
man, God got you on a great journey, Brother Cam, and you're setting such a good example for us by being one that has made it to the pinnacle of success in that athletic arena. And still, see, most of the people that leave that, they lose their health. Mm-hmm. Meaning what? The only reason that they even trained
was because
ate right is because you wanted to play football.
For sure.
But life is bigger than football.
Yes, sir.
So, this body, the scripture says, is the temple of God. And anyone that defiled the temple shall be destroyed. So we should treat this body like the temple of God, not like a trash can, like a temple. Mm-hmm. And by doing so, we will make ourselves fitting vessels that the Spirit of God can live in us and move in us and be able to help us carry out our goals, dreams, and aspirations and bring His will into existence.
Absolutely. When did you know this was your calling?
I was speaking, they put me on the rostrum. I was 17 years old. I only had been in the nation 3 months. But what I was bothered by, when I started reading and studying the teachings, I asked my mother, I said, Mom, why didn't you teach me this stuff? Mm-hmm. She said, what are you talking about? I didn't know none of that stuff. What are you talking about? I said, you didn't ever buy no Final Call, not even a bean pie, nothing? She said, no, I didn't. But I was playing catch up. So I used to study 8 to 10 hours a day, even when I was in school. All day, all into the night, just constantly studying, quizzing myself, studying, every day, 7 days a week. And so when I started talking in the study groups, I guess my answers had some substance, so everybody kept saying he needs to be on the rostrum.
What can you educate me? It's a rostrum?
Rostrum, yeah, podium. A podium, rostrum, a podium. Just speaking from the podium. So our study group is a circle.
Okay.
We do these at least every Friday. And it's what you're doing right now. See, what you're engaged in is self-examination, self-analysis, and self-correction. So we have 21 study guides that were put together from the minister on various different aspects of life and different emotional issues and impediments that we have inside of self and how to navigate through them, scriptures and support for. So we get in circles and talk about whatever the subject is. So my comments, I guess, had some substance. They said he needs to be in the ministry speaking. Yeah. So that time, I was 3 months in. The brother that was the minister there told me, he said, it was a Wednesday, smaller meeting. He said, I need you to go open up. I said, open up? I said, well, he didn't say it. He had somebody else ask me. I said, open up. I said, I'm not feeling good. I was feeling fine until they asked me to speak. Yeah. As soon as they asked me to speak, I immediately started feeling sick. Yeah. So Sunday came, big day, main day. The minister comes to me, pulls me into the office. He said, rumor has it that you were scared to speak. You know you can't tell no black man he's scared. I was like, no, sir, I wasn't scared. I just wasn't feeling good. He said, well, how are you feeling today? I'm fine, sir. He said, well, good, you own in 5 minutes. I said, well, wait a minute. He said, no, you own in 5 minutes. And I went and I spoke, and everybody was standing, clapping. I really thought that they was just being supportive. But when I was up there on the rostrum, when I was speaking, I heard a loud voice in my mind, and it said, this is what you're born to do. When I got off the rostrum, though, I said, I ain't never going back up there, because I'm not sure if that was God or Gino talking. I don't know who that was in my head talking.
Yeah.
And I said I wasn't going to go back. Wednesday came, I did a whole lecture, and I ended up becoming an assistant minister at 17 years of age in high school, and the minister allowed me to be the student minister in Indianapolis when I was just turning 21. Just turning 21. And in 6 months, we tripled the ranks in 6 months of me being a student minister at a very young age. So it was that voice, and I did feel like that this is what I was born to do. And it's been my purpose.
You mind me asking, how old are you now?
I'm 50 years old now.
What?
Yes, sir. Yeah, 50.
No hair dye, no none of that.
Oh, well, you know, it's a little sauce here and there. You know,
You know what I mean?
got a little touch up here and there. You got
Man, I'm looking at you.
I ain't got to the point where I got to do the whole kit. But,
Yeah,
you know, I got to do the mustache here and there. But that's, you know, I've been striving to follow the How to Eat to Live program of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and the How to Think to Live program.
You said How to Eat to Live?
How to Eat to Live. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has 2 books that he was given from Master Father Muhammad, teaching him, God showing him the diet that makes a God out of a man. And you know there's a diet for everything. Slaves have a diet. That's why we was fed pork, because they wanted us to have a food that gave us calories for energy that we could work. But inside of pig, there's microscopic maggots called trichina worms, millions of them. I'm saying in a skittle, the size of a skittle piece of pork has over 100,000 worms in it. These worms eat your digestive fluid. They climb up your spine, mess with your vertebrae, get into your brain. They start eating brain cells, sound and mental power. The pig is made of a cat, rat, and a dog. It's mixed all together. That's why when you go to the baseball games and you go to get with the thing in the little bun, it's called a hot what?
Dog.
A hot dog. And then you want it to taste right, you get the red stuff and you put it on it. It's called
Ketchup.
Ketchup. So it's cat, rat, and dog, is what I'm trying to say. So they gave us that because they want us to be what? Physically have energy, but if it's sounding your mental power, you're getting dumber and dumber. So they trying to keep us. That was slave diet. Did you know that whenever you feed a stallion, you feed them different than when you feed a regular working horse? They're from the same kith and kin. The only thing that makes them different is the diet you feed them. Same with cockfighting, same with dogs. Even a bee. Do you know a queen bee was just a female bee, regular female bee in larva stage. They chose that this female bee is going to become the new queen. So the males start going out getting what's called royal jelly and feeding the larva royal jelly. Next thing you know, that queen bee grows 3 times the size of all the other bees, is much smarter than the other bees, stronger than the other bees, and lives longer than the other bees, simply off of diet. So How to Eat to Live was a diet that God revealed to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that is really an age reversal diet. It's a disease preventing diet. It's that life and life more abundantly formula. So primarily we eat one meal a day. 1 meal a day, fast 3 days out of the month. Some of us eat 1 meal every other day. Some people eat 1 meal and fast 3 days. And then that's basically eating twice a week. That's how those long livers in the Bible that you read about lived. When you look at, from Adam to Noah, the life expectancy of man on average was 912 years. At that time, they were eating 1 time, fasting 3 days, eating again, and they did not eat any meat. Every herb-bearing seed was considered to them as food. So they ate twice a week and made it almost to 1,000. After the Noah, here's the flood coming now. Animal products is being consumed. They eat meat. It goes from Noah to Jesus. It gets cut down to 317. And then, of course, now look at us, barely making it to 70, because we got Chick-fil-A and Taco Hell and McDevils and Honda Murder King and Long John Killers. We got all this foolishness.
So let me ask you this, because I was going to ask it while you was talking about, prevention of or just your diet, what's the longest that you've ever fasted for?
I've fasted for 21 days before.
No, what?
No, nothing. Just drinking water and coffee for 21 days.
No milk in the coffee, just black.
Just cream and sugar. I'll tell you, put some cream and sugar.
Okay.
I didn't have it where it was cream and sugar with a little coffee. It was coffee with a little cream and sugar.
Yeah.
But the minister recommended to us just do 3-day fast. That's sufficient. Just do 3 days. And then if you want to do another one later on, do another 3. So in the nation, every month we do what's called a national fast, where everybody in the nation comes together the first weekend of every month. Our last meal is Thursday evening, and then our next meal is not till Sunday evening. And of course, accountability partners, teamwork, making the dream work. It makes it easier when you got people doing it with you. And by doing so, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that if you ate 1 meal a day and you did that little fast for them 3 days out of the month, that you would live to be about 140 years of age.
140?
Now, and keep in mind this, there's some people right now called the Hunzas in the Himalayas. I learned about them on accident because of the in Our Savior Has Arrived, which is one of the books of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He mentioned some people among the Himalayans that was living way up in age and having children way up in age. So the Hunza people, they barely eat anything. Some of them, they go on fast sometime for 60 days where they drinking just tea. But they don't eat no processed food, very, very little animal products at all. And they living and they producing, climbing mountains at 110, 111, 112, moving like regular people. They showed a video of one of them that was almost doing, he was like a gymnast, strong, sane.
Yeah.
So, the body, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said this body was built to live and last for 1,000 years.
Yeah, but that's the thing, that is it realistic for athletes? I remember, was it Akeem Olajuwon?
Mm-hmm.
And you see athletes like Kyrie Irving who are openly fasting.
Right.
And to say it doesn't impact performance, because it does. What would be some ramifications for training purposes for athletes?
Well, for Kyrie, it impacted him positive. He scored more points. And when he was in, I think the first year he announced Ramadan, that first game, he hit him for 41 while fasting.
Yeah.
So it's a challenge. It's a discipline. It's to see whether or not you can tell your flesh that my mind and spirit is in control. I run this, or you gonna let flesh run you. So that's what it is. So if the devotion comes, there's a saying of Prophet Muhammad. He uses this language. He said, during Ramadan, the gates of hell are closed and heaven is open, and the devils are caged in or chained up, and angels are released. Now, this don't literally mean up in the sky you can see some big gates open, and in hell you see chains and devils. But it's saying that in Ramadan, Allah God, He's making doing good and being right easier, and making doing wrong and being wrong harder.
Yeah.
So this is a season, if you want to break not just the low desire lust habit, but any other habit. So they've been able to function. Hakeem Olajuwon, he was able to function. Abdul Rauf, he used to do Ramadan. Craig Hodges used to do Ramadan. It's several. It's football players.
Yeah, for sure.
Doing Ramadan, and linebackers that were doing Ramadan last year. So it's feasible. You just have to regulate your affairs and make sure you hydrate before and hydrate after. But it can be done.
A full fast for the nation is from what time to what time?
What we consider to be a fast, it has to be really no food at all for past 24 hours. That's considered 1 day of fasting if you get past that. 2 days is 48 hours, 72 hours.
The world tells you that you need McDevils and Murder King to survive, but Nuri is pointing us back to a diet that builds a god, not a slave. Why were our ancestors fed the slave diet? Because it gave them just enough calories to work the fields, but destroyed their mental power. They wanted us physically strong, but mentally stagnant. Look at the stallions of our community. Athletes like Kyrie Irving and Hakeem Olajuwon, they fast, they discipline their flesh, and they perform better because they've proven their mind is the master, not their stomach. Nuri talks about the 140-year life expectancy and the royal jelly that turns a regular bee into a queen. We are the original people, built to last 1,000 years, but we've been tricked into eating from a trash can instead of a temple. It's time to reclaim the discipline of the fast and the power of the one meal.
A lot of people call abstaining from certain things a fast for a certain amount of hours. So you have this new term out, intermittent fasting. That's what that is. You're just cutting out certain stuff for a certain amount of hours in a day in making your window of time to eat a certain time. Mm-hmm. But technically, our intermittent fasting is all the time. Mm. They have it. They popularize it now. They advertising the OMAD diet. It's an acronym: 1 meal a day. Mm. OMAD. But we've been on it. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad has been teaching us this since the 30s. 1 meal a day. So this has always been our system. So that's what we do.
I mean, there's obvious, intrigue of this particular way of life. Now, 1 meal a day don't mean pizza and certain things. Like, is there food enriched, or is there certain foods that you guys lean more in? Is the richness of, or?
A very good question, Brother Cam. See, you can't do real work on fake food. That's the bottom line. You cannot do real work on fake food. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to eat your meal, you should want that meal to be as healthy as possible so that it can provide you with the fuel you need to go into the next day and achieve the objectives that God has for you and that you have set out for yourself.
Like what?
So our primary diet, our staple is the navy bean soup. Mm. And it's a recipe that Master Father Muhammad gave that is the small navy bean and various different vegetables in it. Very inexpensive to make, but the bean soup, it in and of itself is a sufficient amount of meal for you. Mm. So that's one of our staples. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad recommended that you drink a pure glass of milk, pure milk. Now they don't sell it like that. You have to get raw milk, and then you have to take the raw milk and you have to boil it, then chill it, and then drink it. That'll be considered a pure glass of milk. And then you have some that eat chicken, some that eat lamb, some that eat fish, some that eat beef, and that's your food. And we cook rice, but we cook it different. We cook some of the starch off of it. We brown it first. In raw form, put it in a skillet, a little oil, brown it, then add water to it. It cooks some of the starch off the rice. Okay. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad didn't really like us eating rice. And How to Eat to Live, he said this: if you must eat rice, then do it like this.
But what would be the carbs that you would intake?
Whole wheat bread. See, if we was eating real whole wheat bread, not this dwarfed wheat that's on the scene right now, real whole wheat bread would be your best option.
So something that is fulfilling.
Yeah, it's fulfilling, and it is healthy. So it's giving you the adequate raw material physically that you need to build your cells, to replenish your body, and to have the energy you need to move forward. I've trained for several marathons and ran marathons on 1 meal a day.
What?
1 meal a day, and my partner, he wasn't in the nation. And he always, every time we ran together. If I was a little tired, he'd be like, "I'm tired to tell you. You got to get a smoothie or something, man. Get you some oatmeal." Yeah. And I'm like, "No, sir." Every time he was running tired, "Yes, that breakfast on you, boy, ain't it?" And, as time went on, we end up strengthening each other. and he ended up. We were out one day, Brother Cam. We were running a 21-mile run, and because we always was in this righteous competition with each other.
What religion was he?
He was a Christian.
Okay.
So he's saying, you know, eat like this, do like this. And I'm saying, brother, this is the best way. So if I was fatigued, he would beat me up. And if he was, I would mess with him.
Yeah.
We on a 21-mile run, Brother Cam. We get to the 17-mile marker, and I'm hurting. I'm hurting bad. But I look over at him, and his back is straight. His stride is good. And he got such a good pace. I said, if he can do it, so can I. But really what I said, I'm not going to let no cognac nipping, black and mild smoking, cheeseburger eating Negro. He's not getting ready to beat me. If he can do it, I'm going to keep running.
Yes, sir.
We got to the end of the run, and we both fell out in the grass. We was laying in the grass, and he leaned over, and you won't believe what he had the audacity to say to me. He said, brother, I got to tell you something. I was hurting real bad at that 17-mile marker. But I looked over at you and your back was straight and your stride was good. You had such a good pace. I said, if he can do it, so can I.
With no food.
No food. But what point was is that we borrow strength from one another. That's what brotherhood does.
Yes, sir.
That's what having an accountability partner does. That's what unity does. It allows you to borrow strength from one another to help both of you all propel beyond what you could have done on your own.
Yeah.
So, you know, that, and I'm pleased to say that he did come in the nation. He joined the nation. His wife joined the nation, and his son is in the nation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever been to Mecca?
I have not been there yet. God willing, we'll go one day. Right now, the minister has advised us not to really do any international traveling right now with the climate of the world.
Okay.
You know, unfortunately, America is Satan's headquarters. And the number one thing that it exports is sin, wickedness, and wrongdoing all over the planet. So you're seeing now where around the world, people going to Cancun, going to the DR, going on vacation, but because they're from America, they're being kidnapped, some being hurt, some being killed, held for ransom, etc. So because of the climate that America has produced for people that come from America, they don't know that hey, hold on a minute. We're not from there. We're from the nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
We don't. So for safety reasons right now, I haven't gone yet.
I always hear this strong pride of especially in the nation of Black, your brother. Do you have any white friends?
I have a few associates, and we have white Muslims that are studying the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad that are considered our brothers and our sisters.
But it's okay. So that is studying Muslim, but the Nation of Islam.
Oh, they study in the nation. They study the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Okay.
Yeah, they study in teachings.
Explain
They have
that.
their own study groups, their own meetings. They come to all of our national conventions, and they're doing good work. They're doing good work.
Are they in America?
Yeah, in America and around other parts too, but they're in America. A nice amount of them, and it has been like that. Even in the 70s, there were white people, Caucasians, studying the teachings and that were considered Muslims. There's someone that wrote a book called The Message to the White Man. And it is a Caucasian that is taking the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and breaking it down into a way that would be, more digestible to his people, he thought.
Right.
So, yeah, the truth is truth. So we teach the truth to all. We need to know that where Black came from and what Black is. Because Black's not a color. It's the essence from which all color comes from, so teaches the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Even if you took a paint set and mixed them all together, all the colors, it'll turn black. Because it's the essence from which all color comes from. Black is original. So Bible says from one blood came all living beings, from one blood. Well, what blood could produce all? In the Mendelian law, he said this. He said, you can get recessive from dominant, but you cannot get dominant from recessive. Look at what he said was dominant. He said, brown skin, brown eyes is dominant. White skin, blue eyes, recessive. Black skin, brown eyes, dominant. So if you can get recessive from dominant, but not dominant from recessive, you can get white and all the other colors if black was first. But if white was first, you never would have the rest of these colors. So we are the original people on the planet, and we've been subliminally programmed to hate everything black. Do you know in the dictionary right now, there's 120 definitions for black, and almost all of them are negative. And there's 134 definitions for white, and almost all of them are positive. Think about it. Stock market crash, it was called Black Monday. Somebody framed somebody, you blackmailed them, right? Whenever you tell a small lie, it's a little white lie, but a big lie is a black lie. Mm-hmm. You having bad luck, you're behind the 8 ball. What color is it? It's black. And now, on the pool table, the white ball puts all the other balls into place. And if you play a game where you put money into it, the cue ball will come back, but none of the other balls will come back if you scratch. Why? Because the white ball is bigger than all the other balls on the table. The green felt is a symbol of the planet. And these are all the different nationalities. Subliminal programming that we put everybody in their place. We run everything. And you lose the game if you don't make that black ball go in last. That's last. Programming. Even in baked goods. Angel food cake is white cake with white icing, but devil food cake, chocolate cake with chocolate icing. So these are subtle, subliminal messages that program us to think negative about our own black self. So the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, when he was teaching us and the minister, he has to lift us back up by feeding us not black hyperbole, but black facts.
They've even weaponized the dictionary against you. 120 negative definitions for black. Blackmailed, blackballed, Black Monday. Meanwhile, white gets 134 definitions of purity and light. It's a subliminal war designed to make you hate the very essence of who you are. Nuri exposes the public school killing fields, where we learn about George Washington and Einstein, but never Mansa Musa or the Nile Valley civilization. This Black History Month is a cheap pacifier, the shortest month of the year to cover the longest history on Earth, and they start our history at the plantation, not the palace. They want you to think you started from the bottom, but the truth is, we started from the top and we've been pushed down. Real education isn't about memorizing their facts. It's about discovering your own greatness.
To lift us. And there's a teacher that is considered one of the fathers of Western education. His name is Robert Collier. When education was going public, listen to what he said. He said that, remember, education is only 1/4 information. The other 3/4 is encouragement. And nothing encourages a child like teaching them about someone that looked like them that accomplished great feats in the past. So we've been through school. Black and white children start school the same way. They hold on to their mother's leg, get peeled off, have to cry, real timid, head down, moving slow. But notice that as both of them matriculate through 12 years of the public school system, I said it right, they going through, but look at what they're learning about. Black and white child are birth learning about white greatness. They learned about George Washington, a white man, Thomas Jefferson, a white man, Einstein, a white man, Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, Thales, Hypothetical, all these are white men. So that white child is learning about people that look like them that accomplished great feats in the past. So after 12 years, he walks out of school with his back straight, chest out, head held high, ready to conquer the world. But the little brother didn't learn about nobody that looked like him that accomplished great feats in the past. So when he walks out, he started with his head down. Now he leaves 12 years later with his head and his pants down because he never learned about people that looked like him. So knowledge of self, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said is essential to learn. And knowledge of self produces love for self. And when you love yourself, you start doing for yourself. And if I know myself and I love myself and I'm doing for myself, and you, my brother, my other self, then I'm going to treat my other self the same way. Guess what happens? All crime, all violence, all mistreatment, envy, jealousy, all the stuff that's plaguing our community, it disappears from knowledge of self and love of self.
What's your thoughts about Black History Month?
Well, it's a pretty little cheap pacifier that they've stuck in our mouth.
You agree with it or disagree with it?
I disagree with it in the sense of this. Here we are, the people with the longest history of anybody on the planet. Yet when it's time to remember us, we get the shortest month of the year. Think about that for a second. And notice that Black History Month in the educational system is never before slavery. It's always from the plantation to the present or the cotton field to the current. You never learned about Imhotep or Mansa Musa or the Nile Valley civilization or Timbuktu or the lost city of Atlantis. We don't learn anything about what we were before we were kidnapped and brought to America and westernized and Caucasianized. We don't learn about what we used to be before we were brought here. We learn about the accomplishments of a slave under the slave master, or about a freedom fighter or a revolutionary who either was killed or their movement was broke. So guess what happens to the mind if all we know about is plantation to the present? What happens is, if we look back and we see us as slaves living in mud huts, working from can't see morning, can't see night for free, dressed in burlap, then we start getting a little apartment, you know, $10 an hour, couple jackets, and think we didn't really came somewhere. Next thing you know, we start talking about we started from the bottom, now we're here. But if we could really learn about ourselves, we would say we started from the top and now we're way down here. So in that sense, Black history is a scam that has been offered to give us a pacifier. A pacifier, it looks like a nipple, might even feel like a nipple in the baby's mouth, but no milk is coming out of the pacifier. It's put in the mouth just to put somebody to sleep. And unfortunately, this Black history, the way it's been taught, has put us to sleep. McDonald's said, celebrating Black History 365. We shouldn't have needed McDonald's to say that. We should have said it ourselves. There's no other nation of people that have 1 month to talk about themselves. Every day is about themselves. So we shouldn't allow them to limit us to a 1 month, shortest month of the year, to learn about self. Every day should be Black History Month.
I said this before, but I draw a fence to who's the messenger of Black history. My children, they go to a pretty good school.
Yes, sir.
I take education extremely serious, especially the early development of education, as well as furthering their education as well. But I witnessed something that I said to myself, it's like, are they really getting the trueness of that?
Right.
Because at one particular point in time when you do some soul searching and you start saying yourself and you start asking those questions, it's like, hold on,
Yeah.
where do we come from?
Yeah.
Hey, we living in Georgia,
See?
a slavery state.
That's right.
So if that person who's teaching you about something look like them,
Come on.
and that's not to create divide. That's not to create, a bad guy, good guy. I just draw a fence sometimes when Black history is being taught by a person that is not Black.
Let me show you how, look at how the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan put it. He said, any man that will not treat you right will never teach you right. They're not going, if there's an African proverb that says that if the lion hunter is the one that tells the story will always favor the hunter. So even when we learn this Black history, the reason that you offended is because Black history, for the main course, is Martin Luther King Jr. You get you a side dish of Rosa Parks, maybe 3 tablespoons of Frederick Douglass, and maybe a shot glass or some Malcolm X, but you don't get any real history of us before we were in America made slaves. That's the impediment. So we have to start giving our children real homework. You know, when you graduate from a college, whatever college that we graduate from, we call it our alma mater. Alma mater is German for other mother. So educational institutions are the other mother. So if the educational institution is the other mother, who's the primary teacher? It's the real mother. It's the real father. So we have an assignment to not rely on the school system or any place we deposit our children in to be their primary educator. No, we have to teach our own children. Frederick Douglass said this, that any child that only learns at school is an uneducated child. We have to teach our children ourselves. So give them homework, Brother Cam, and just incentivize it. Offer them some money, and you watch how serious they get. I'm telling you, I almost went broke. My daughter almost got me. She was wrestling with some issues, so I had some books I wanted her to study to help her get it. And it was summertime. I told her, for every book you read, I'm gonna quiz you on it, which means I had to read it too, and it's $100 per book. 3 weeks in, she had knocked down 4 books. I said, oh my God, summer vacation is 3 months. I think she did 14 books. And I'm talking about, took notes on all of them, and I quizzed her, and she learned it. So I came to her, I said, well, my word is bond, I gotta give you the money I promised you. And when I was gonna give her the money, but Cam, look what she said. She said, that's okay, Daddy. What I got from the books is way more valuable than the money. I still gave her some money, but my point is that we have to give our children real homework, and it shouldn't be the regurgitation of stuff that was sent home from school. It should be the stuff that we're putting in our baby's mind that they can take to school with them to have the right mindset to conquer the environment that we deposited them in.
How many children do you have?
3. I have 3 children. Yeah.
The school system is the alma mater, and meaning the other mother. But Nuri is calling the real fathers and mothers to the front of the line. We cannot deposit our children into institutions that assassinate their aspirations and expect them to come home as kings and queens. We have $1.3 trillion flowing through our hands, enough to be the 8th richest nation on earth. Yet we don't even own the shops in our own neighborhoods. $1 stays in our community for 6 hours, while it stays in other communities for a month. We're being invited into a lifestyle that disqualifies us from God's promise. Unity is our atomic bomb. If we shop with our brother before we shop with another, we can turn the hood into heaven and the projects into paradise. It's time to come out of the system and build for ourselves.
I'm going to take that. Because transparently speaking, I've always been the parent that's the school's job to teach my children, right? Ignorantly enough. And I use my own truth sometimes to educate and empower, to not say that this is the right way. It's just to say that I'm flawed and to understand that I'm a work in progress. But when I hear you talk, one of those things that I think about is because by the time I get home, I want to be dead. Wow. By the time I get home, you know, I've provided all my life. I've provided all day and was a servant to so many people, being labeled the boss. Yeah. That means you're just the biggest servant. Yeah. And by the time I see my children, I don't got time, but I need to start making time.
Yeah. Well, this is so, you know, we have a saying, men sharpen men like steel sharpen steel. So the minister said this. Now, to me, the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, why is this man walking among us? Listen what he said. He said, I've never met another human being that was not my superior in some way. That means that everybody can teach everybody something. So I'm learning from you. There's things that you can tell me that I never seen it like that, and I could take it as a jewel and nugget to renegotiate my contract with my life. There might be some things I'm saying that you can help. You can take to use the same, do the same thing for. Right. But you had it right though, Brother Cam. It always has broke my heart to drive past a raggedy public school killing field and see parents pulling up in $100,000 vehicles, picking their children up from a raggedy miseducation institution. The number one investment of a real parent should not be their IRA, the 401k, stocks, bonds, real estate. The number one investment of a real parent should be in their children.
Yes, sir.
So if there's anything that's going to be determined for distribution of resources, it'd be better to pull up in a Camry at a good school that's teaching the children properly than to keep pulling up in these $100,000 automobiles, watching our children have a needle stuck in their brain and their spirit killed, their aspirations assassinated, and their dreams snatched. So now you have it. You can use them as reinforcement.
Yes, sir.
But you become the primary enforcer of the wisdom, knowledge that you want them to learn.
I must ask this question, just with the state of the United States. How is the nation planning to organize over the next 4 years under the presidency?
Well, we have an agenda, a program that we run regardless to whoever is in office. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us to do for self or suffer the consequences. So we're in America, but we try not to be of America. So our formula that we are appealing to our people to accept is to recognize that how long are we going to sit here holding our arms out, asking to be embraced by a system, a country, an institution, and a people before our arms get tired and we decide to put them down. I told a brother, I said, I was thinking about that. We standing up here holding our arms out, asking somebody to embrace us for 450 years. No embrace is coming. We still, the last hired, the first fired, we still got to work twice as hard to get half as much. Every chance that anybody gets, whether it's Democrat or Republican, it makes no difference. There's always some way that the first casualty is what's good for us. So we stand, your arms are going to get tired holding them out or working. Why not use them to build something for self? So unfortunately, the wrath of God is on America right now. America is under divine judgment. Historically speaking, whether it was Rome, Babylon, Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah, a nation where everything goes will soon be gone. And this is a nation that is stolen land, built by stolen people. And neither of those people have ever gotten their justice for how they were treated. But God himself sees it. So if America doesn't make right their wrong and repent to God for what they've done and change and turn from their ways, then America's not going to exist. It's headed down, unfortunately. And I know, for us, we say, oh man, what's going to happen to us? Well, we already at the bottom right now. They lost $5 trillion in Dow Jones and NASDAQ since 2025 started. But our little bank account didn't get affected. We still got the same $38.40 we had in there before the NASDAQ went up. It didn't make no difference.
That PPP loan been
Come on now. So I say this to us. Don't get hurt to hear that God is going to give justice for the treatment of our ancestors and our abuse and injustice we've suffered. If America is falling and we already at the bottom, it's not a time to get sad. It's a time to get out the way and just let it hit. And then we can pick up the pieces and it can become maybe that promised land that we have earned and deserved since we built it anyway. Yes. So America's in trouble.
What are some things that we can do we are not doing in the Black community?
The biggest thing is we have to be united. There's scripture that says, train up a child in the way that they should go. And when they grow old, they will not depart from you.
Right.
So we are the only species on the planet. There's no other species on the planet, I don't care whether it's a bird, insect, or animal, that waits until that species becomes an adult to start thinking about adult responsibilities. Every bird, every animal, insect that's born, soon as they're born, they start getting cultivated into be the adult expression of themselves. We wait till somebody 18, 21 to start teaching them how to be a man, how to be a father and a husband, to somebody 18 and 21 to teach them how to be a mother and a wife. That's too late. That's one. Two, we have to unite with each other and start shopping with our brother before we shop with another. Do you know we had $1.3 trillion come through our hands the last 2 years as a nation? Out of 233 nations in the earth, 1.3 trillion makes us the 8th richest nation in the world. There's only 9 nations out of the 233 that have over $1 trillion, and we in that category. But we got all that money. Spain, they have 700 billion. They taking care of 47 million people like us with a 208,000 square landmass. With they own everything. Mexico got 637 billion. They taking care of 130 million people on 760,000 square miles. They have their own everything. We got more money than them, almost double. Same population as Spain, and we don't even own the shops in our own neighborhoods. So we got, you know, I applaud our brothers and sisters that are saying, let's boycott, let's boycott, let's boycott. But yeah, it's good to boycott. But if you're going to boycott one white business and then everybody's just going to redirect their funds to go next door to his brother, how are you winning? So what has to happen is not just white boycott, but white boycott has to be attached to a black boycott. And that black boycott has to stay consistent for the rest of our existence. That is one of the things that you see all other nations of people do. They have patriotism. They are loyal to each other. A dollar stays in the Asian community 28 to 30 days before it leaves. Among the Jewish community, they keep it 17 to 21 days. Our Latino family keeps theirs for 14 days. A dollar remains in a black community 3 to 6 hours. So if you got direct deposit Friday morning,
you out of here.
Come on now, you don't get off for 8 hours. By the time you got off,
It's already spent.
it's already gone to somebody else. So we have too much to be doing so little, and our unity is our greatest impediment. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that our unity is more powerful than an atomic or a nuclear bomb, and the minister said that our unity will solve 95% of our problems. Us being together as brothers and sisters. We didn't live in the era, Brother Cam, but you know, in the 50s and the 60s, and sometimes in the 70s,
Right.
I was told that it was commonplace in all of our communities that we called each other brothers and sisters everywhere we went. But hey, brother, hey, sister, do you know what happens when you keep calling each other brothers? We just talked about power of words now.
Yes, sir.
John 1:1 says, in the beginning was the Word. The Word was God. God is force and power. The words have force and power. The Word was with God, and then the Word became flesh and dwelt among men. So if we keep calling each other brothers and sisters, it's only a matter of time before we actually become that. And if I'm your brother, then your daughter is my niece and my son is your nephew. So we treat everybody like family. And sometimes our sons and daughters can get a message better from the uncle than they can from the mother and the father, or the aunt than they can from the mother or the father.
Yeah.
That's why before we came to America, we had a saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Not just a good father and a good mother. Not a good father, good mother, and a good school. A village, I mean, all hands is on deck.
Yeah.
It takes all of us to be able to do it. So if we return to some of those concepts like that, if we united, if we started putting family back at the center and the nucleus of our culture, and above all, we got to come out of her, my people. As Revelations 18:4 said, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins and her plagues. God wants to make us his people for him. We are his chosen people. However, melanin is not enough. You got to have morals. Color is not enough. You got to have character. And what is happening right now is we're being invited by this world into a lifestyle that is disqualifying us from the promise of God. So we got to get away from sin, evil, wrongdoing, get back together in unity with each other, be brothers and sisters. Now we are family. The whole village is helping to raise all the children, and we shopping with our brother before we shop with another. If we do that, by the time we did that, we could turn the hood into heaven. The ghetto into God's kingdom and the projects would become paradise if we function like that.
Let me ask you this, though, because obviously on this platform, man, I use it as an outlet for better understanding, and I serve a purpose for not just my own understanding, but, trying to anticipate what others may think or ask too.
Yes, sir.
You don't got no beef with nobody?
Oh, no, sir. No, sir, nobody.
But if you were to...
The question isn't just about politics or who's in the White House. For 450 years, we've held our arms out asking for an embrace that never comes. We are still the last hired and the first fired. Nuri is telling us that our arms are going to get tired, so why not use them to build something of our own? America is under divine judgment, built on stolen land by stolen people who never saw justice. But don't get sad when you see the system falling. If we're already at the bottom, we're the only ones who can't fall. This is the time to pick up the pieces and claim the promised land we've already earned. It takes a village, not just a school. It takes morals and character, not just melanin. We have to return to calling each other brother and sister until it becomes our flesh. This isn't just a conversation, it's a blueprint for the resurrection of a people. We've spent this hour deconstructing the lies and rebuilding the truth. The message is clear. You are the original, the dominant, and the destined. The system won't save you, and the shortest month of the year won't define you. Your power lies in your unity, your discipline, and your knowledge of self. As Nuri said, no good deed goes without a reward, even if it's the weight of an atom. It's time to start sowing into your own people. If this message hits home, don't just watch it, live it, and share it with others. That's one good deed. Start that black boycott and that black boycott today. Remember, your words create your reality, so speak life into your community. We're moving from the plantation to the power. Until next time, stay focused, stay unified, and keep building. Peace. Like and subscribe to join the movement.